Look who finally got her Azuki jacket. I see most people wearing this side. I'm gonna go with this side. Also want to mention that this is an extra small. That's wild. Super wild. So Yuga Labs recently made a very big announcement that had some haters apologizing for fudding Bitcoin NFTs. I am, of course, talking about the tweet that Yuga put out this Monday. So Yuga Labs, they're the creator masterminds behind one of the most valuable NFTs on Ethereum, which are the Bored Apes. And I'm sure you've probably seen those JPEGs before. They also acquired Punks later on, so that whole ecosystem is comprised of the most valuable NFTs on Ethereum. And now they're diving into Bitcoin NFTs, aka Ordinals. Not your layer 2 stacks powered Bitcoin NFTs, no hate, but your OG L1's Bitcoin Satoshis, where you can make inscriptions. If all of this sounds confusing to you, then you're gonna want to watch this video to catch up on what Ordinals are, how to inscribe, send, and receive them. So let's walk through the site together. This is their pinned tweet. Introducing 12-Fold, a limited edition collection of 300 generative pieces inscribed on Satoshis on the Bitcoin blockchain. I thought it was funny because one of the responses was, now I have to listen to this guy gloat on my timeline some more. Thanks a lot, Yuga. This guy being Casey Rodamore, who is the guy behind, the dev who created Ordinals. And he is clearly on a power trip right here saying, bend the knee. All right, so this is the website, 12fold.io. Make sure you go to the link on their tweet because there are probably a lot of fakes by now. The auction is coming soon. It has not been announced. Oh, hello. Okay, just take over, why not? They do point out that these pieces represent a complete art project and will not have any other utility or interact with or be related to any previous ongoing or future Ethereum-based Yuga projects, meaning this has nothing to do with Punks or Meebits or Bored Apes or Mutant Apes or the dogs. So it says that they're going to be announcing more details about timing and the auction mechanics in the coming week. One look at this and you already know that most people are not going to be able to afford this. While they expect this technology and the ecosystem around it to evolve and become more sophisticated over time, they don't expect it to evolve in the same ways other blockchain NFT ecosystems have. You know, they say stepping into the Ordinals Discord a month ago felt like getting a glimpse of the 2017 era Ethereum NFT ecosystem, which is the type of energy and excitement that we love at Yuga, because obviously fuck doing expected things. So what are Bitcoin NFTs, Satoshis, inscriptions, and digital artifacts? I cover all of this in a little bit more detail in my Ordinals video. But basically, inscriptions are NFTs that live on the Bitcoin blockchain, not on some IPFS, not on a centralized server somewhere else. It is actually on the physical Bitcoin Satoshi itself. Art is going to be on chain, immutable, and the artists were crafted by in-house Yuga Labs art team using 3D modeling, algorithmic construction, and high-end rendering tools. Definitely gives me like art blocks vibes. So I feel like some of the team took a leaf out of the art blocks page, saw the success behind that, and then combine it with this new developing ecosystem on Ordinals. How can I acquire a 12-fold piece? Well, you'd have to be able to afford it in the first place, but for those lucky enough to afford it, you will be able to auction later this week. All bids will be made in Bitcoin. So if you spend all the Bitcoin on pizza, I don't know what to tell you. What do you need to participate in the auction? First, you will need a self-custodial wallet that contains the Bitcoin you wish to use to place a bid. Second, you will need an empty Bitcoin address to receive the piece if your bid is successful. Now, the reason that you need 2 separate wallets on Bitcoin is because right now there's not really an easy or good way to distinguish an inscribed Satoshi versus a non-inscribed Satoshi. And so if you don't separate and have only one for receiving Satoshis, you may accidentally end up spending your Bitcoin NFTs just doing regular transactions. Are there any resources available to help me prepare? Yes! Go watch my previous video on Bitcoin Ordinals. Ordinals have been developed since, I want to say, last July. and it hasn't really had this first tailwind until recently. It really took off the end of January, the beginning of February. You can see on this chart, straight arrow, 45-degree angle. And as of today, we have passed 269,000 inscriptions. I listened in on a Bitcoin Twitter space the other day, and you know, they're trying to create like this sub 10 Ordinals group, which they're trying to convince the upcoming Ordinals marketplaces to set aside a specific filter for those that are under 10K, 50K, 100K. And as of right now, they are still working on a trustless Ordinals marketplace. So just be cautious when you go into these discords and try to do some transactions and buy and sell over the counter. Just be aware of the risks that you're taking before the launch of a trustless Ordinals marketplace. Fees have also skyrocketed. You know, you had almost nothing back before basically February, and now fees have reached over 63 Bitcoin. And I think it's also interesting to see that most of the inscriptions are images. There's a few texts and some applications, but the majority of them are images and text. If you keep scrolling through the comment section on Yuga's post about Ordinals, you'll see a lot of mixed responses. Some people are all for it, some people hate it, some people are just kind of like, whatever, it just seems opportunistic, but okay. I also want to point out that someone decided to create a copycat collection of 12-fold, and they inscribed it before Yuga inscribed theirs, to the point where Yuga's actual collection could be considered the copycat if it's similar enough. So this is a screenshot of the inscriptions, and you can see the numbers, 241,000. And they do look very, very similar to the sample images that Yuga had proposed. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and how the market will value this collection, the art, over Yuga's collection. And Adam Hollander also pointed out that, you know, this is an example of provenance versus consensus. If provenance is all that mattered, version 1 would be worth more than version 2. Consensus is prevailing currently here, and he thinks that'll happen with the above as well. You know, Eddie is Kongs says maybe make the collection available with the announcement in the future to prevent this. And Nine-Tailed Fox responded, or maybe the art shouldn't be something you can copy within 48 hours with a basic understanding of a 3D program. And on top of that, Yuga doesn't disclose who the artist or artists in-house are. So I do think it's kind of interesting because, as some people want to point out, if it really is about the art, then make the artist know, right? So let me know, what are your thoughts? Do you think this 12-fold project is going to be a flop, or do you think it's going to be a wild success, or somewhere in the middle where it's just kind of let me know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video to keep updated with the latest on Ordinals and NFTs and crypto. It'll be really interesting to see what can pop up within the next month or 2 months in the Ordinals ecosystem, with developers going at breakneck speeds. But I will say, whether or not you hate or love Bitcoin NFTs, having Yuga entering the space just gives it that much more validation. Is it just a flavor of the week? Well, clearly not, because the biggest player in the NFT space has just validated Bitcoin NFTs. And just knowing how to use the wallets, follow the ecosystem, and inscribe Bitcoins puts you ahead of probably 99% of the people, both normies and regular NFT people in the space. So yeah, make sure you check out my video, and I will see you next time.